I love Game of Thrones. It's probably not appropriate for a kid like me to be watching, but I like it anyways. It's actually a really good fucking show. And a lot of people are talking about season 8. However, that is not what I'm going to be reviewing today, ladies and gentlemen. Today, what I'm going to be reviewing is one movie in chronological order. I'm going to review 2 movies. Then, right after this video, I'm going to review John Wick 3 because I saw that movie. Well, today's Tuesday. Let's do the math here. Monday, Sunday, Saturday. 3 days ago, I saw John Wick 3. I didn't review because I don't know why, actually. I really don't know why. And then I'm going to also review Game of Thrones Season 8 because I really love the show. And I'm allowed to watch that kind of stuff. Don't judge. And no, my parents aren't bad. Okay? Anyways, so it's pointless to review Endgame, but at the end of the year, like most movie reviewers, they like to have a best and a worst of the year. Last year of 2018, I had the best of the year video, but I didn't make a worst of the year. And there's definitely a lot of movies that I did not like this year. Actually, it was only one, maybe, sort of. Anyways, let's go. Avengers Endgame. I'm going to try to make this quick because the next movie I'm going to review is Long Shot. It's going to be after. This is all going to be in one video. So, Avengers Endgame, what do I think? But fucking awesome! Okay, I saw this movie, actually a month ago. Yeah, I saw this movie literally a month ago. Actually, the reason why I tried to review this movie, the reason why I didn't post this is because for some reason something happened with my account. The only reason I was able to do it on Detective Pikachu is because I had to do it through my dad's computer. But even then it was, no, actually it's not quite true. But even something happened with my account and it wouldn't let me post it, and I kept on trying to post the Endgame review. Then I just kind of gave up, and now I'm gonna do it, hopefully. Anyway, so Avengers Endgame, this is probably far better, and this is going to be full on spoilers, this is far better than Avengers Infinity War by a long shot. Now, in terms of action, there's not a lot of that, but the opening is with Tony Stark and Nebula. They have a really good bond, I really love it, and then Captain Marvel saves him. By the way, spoilers, Captain Marvel had nothing to do in this movie. She comes in the very beginning, like it's the very beginning. They slice off Thanos' head. Well, Thor slices off his head, and Thor. There's a really cool quote. It's like Nebula says, "My father does not lie," and then Thanos is all like, "Thank you, daughter. Maybe I treated you too harshly." And then Thor slices off his head, and then Captain America's like, "What did you do?" He's like, "I went for the head." But then it ended up being a bad idea. And then Captain Marvel just leaves the movie and she doesn't come back till the very ending. So it's like, then why'd you build her up if she literally had nothing to do with this movie? By the way, Brie Larson is a huge feminist, so she should shut up because you didn't do anything in this movie, bitch. Anyways, so yeah, a lot of that stuff happens, and I really love the emotions in this movie too. Just having all these characters. This movie feels like an epic. And I cannot wait to see what they do with the MCU after this, but let's talk about the time travel scenes, because there's a lot of throwbacks. And this movie has basically everybody. This has Robert Redford returns from the Winter Soldier. Tilda Swinton, everybody knows this, but Tilda Swift, I think, Tilda Swinton or something. Yeah, she also returns, which is not a shocker because this movie's been out for a long time, and I'm kind of late to review it, even though I saw this basically 3 days after its release. And so yeah. So anyways, I guess everything about this movie's been talked about. I don't even know if I should review the entire movie. I guess I'm just gonna skip to the ending because the ending. But one more thing I love the scene in this movie when because in the Winter Soldier, he's trapped inside the elevator, and they're gonna kill us. And he's like, "If anyone wants to, before we do this, does anyone want to get out?" And then and then in this movie, he goes inside the elevator because they go back in time to retrieve the Infinity Stones from different timelines, so they can snap their fingers and bring everybody back. They go back in time, and they're on the elevator, and they're all looking at Captain America, getting ready to kill him. And then he said, "By the way, I need Loki's scepter," and he said, you're not authorized to do that. And he's like, it's okay. Hail Hydra. And then it was just like, and then the villains were all like, Captain America is one of us. That was a badass scene. But then it begs the question: don't you think, like, what if in the future, like later on, because this in 2012, and then later on, when like what would happen in Winter Soldier? Like, would they be like, he's one of us? Like, don't you think they'd think like, oh, Captain America is so one of us? I mean, how would it play out then? I mean, when they go in the timelines, there's a lot of things that happen that makes me wonder, what happens after that? Huh. But anyways, other than that, this movie's pretty much fucking great. Other than the fact that Captain Marvel had nothing to do in this movie, and even though they built her up so much, and her movie was kind of crappy. Um, and the ending was probably one of the best Marvel endings ever. I'm sorry I'm not going to talk about the whole movie, but this movie has literally been reviewed, talked about, theorized, everything. So I'm just going to talk about the things I personally loved. And even if I went on and told you everything I loved about this movie, it would go on forever. This movie, this video would probably be about 50 minutes because I'd spend 20 minutes talking about this movie. Anyways, so the ending, when like Thanos gets the stones, he's like, I am the inevitable. Snaps his fingers. I'm a righty. See, this is my left arm. I literally, I'm complete righty. I can't even snap with my left arm. That's how much of a righty I am. Yeah. And then Iron Man grabs the stone. It's a good thing he did it with his right hand. He's like, and I am Iron Man. Boom, and he just blows everything up, and it's very sad. And it makes me curious. It's like, what are you gonna do now that you basically killed off Captain America? Yeah, Captain America turns into a very old man, basically leaving up to the assumption, like, after the ending of this movie, he probably dies. More than likely, he dies after this movie. When Captain America becomes an old man, because he goes back in time to send back all the Infinity Stones, but then he decides when he goes back to the 1950s to return the Space Stone, he decides to stay there and start a family with Peggy, and that's what he does. And when he comes back, he's a really old man. He's all like, here's the shield, man. And it sets up the Falcon and Bucky TV show, which a lot of fans have been speculating on whether or not what it's going to be about. But in the ending, it's just pure gold. The finale when everybody comes together and like Chris Pratt's character, Star-Lord, is all like, Gamora? And it's the 2014 Gamora, and she just kicks him and punches him. He's like, oh, shit. And then she's like, I'm supposed to fall in love with him. And then Nebula's like, yeah. But anyways, this movie's basically golden. I think I'm going to give it a 9.8 simply because Captain Marvel had nothing to do in this movie. And even though I don't like her character, but if you're going to build her up so much and make her own movie right before this movie comes out, it's like, do something with her. Literally, this is what happens. She goes up to Thanos, Thanos grabs her and throws her. That's all she does to him. That's all she does. Anyways, 9.8. Okay, let's review Long Shot. I saw this movie about exactly 1 week ago on Saturday night. So, yeah, I saw a week ago, right before I saw John Wick. And this is one of my favorite romance comedies ever. It has Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron and O'Shea Jackson Jr. Or Ice Cube Jr., if that's how you say his name. Yeah, I think it's Ice Cube the Second or Ice Cube Jr., but yeah. Anyways, basically, it's about a secretary played by Charlize Theron. She's really famous, and the most funniest president in all movie history comes in. He's all like, I want you to be the next president of the 2020 election. No, it's not Donald Trump who's the president of this movie. And the president wants Charlize Theron to run as the next president because everybody loves her, and she's young, and she's a female. She'd be the first female president. And so he wants her to run, and the reason is because the president in this movie used to be a TV show guy, and so he wants to continue making movies, so he wants to quit being president so he can make movies and have the secretary become the next president. That's basically who he is. And then Seth Rogen is this guy who used to know Charlize Theron's character when he was a kid, and then somehow they meet up with each other, and she calls him up, and she's like, hey, I remember you. And he's like, oh, I'm a journalist. And she's like, oh, it's cool. Well, right off the bat, this is probably Seth Rogen's his best performance, and I've seen a lot of his movies. I haven't seen a ton, but I've seen like The Green Hornet. I think I've seen a few other movies, but anyways, I really love Seth Rogen in this movie. This is probably his best performance. Yeah, he's funny, and also there's a few really emotional moments, and also there's two really, really sexy sex scenes. I don't know if I should dwell on that, but I'm gonna turn 15 in July, and yeah, I just keep thinking about it. Oh yeah, right. I'm still a kid. Can't talk about that stuff. But anyways, so yeah, so that happens. Those awesome scenes happen, and I love them so much, even though I probably shouldn't love them as much as I do. But not only were they just kind of, sexy, but they're also just really funny. Everything in this movie is just funny. Like the scene where there's a brief action scene where they're hiding and they're about to kiss each other, and then like the one of the best black secretaries in all movie history, like he's probably the best person you can meet. I don't know who he is, but he comes in and he catches him. He's like, oh yeah, sorry. You may have seen it in the trailer, and and towards the ending of the movie, as he's continuing to journalize, um, he had this video of him where he's watching Charlize Theron, and he's like, "That's a nice dress," and he starts to come all over his face, and then like that gets leaked to the public because they're trying to ruin Charlize Theron's career for some reason, and that's where the weak part comes in. The villain. Yeah, there's this bad guy. I think it's played by Andy Serkis. I don't know who it is, but he looks a lot like Andy Serkis. I kept on saying, "Is that Andy Serkis?" Even though I don't think it is, but I'm just gonna say it is, even though it's probably not. It really looks like him. But he comes in. He's like this big bad guy. He wants to have a meeting with Charlize Theron's character. And he's been trying to get it, and she keeps on skipping him because she's like, "I think you're a pervert." So she keeps on skipping, and so then they use this footage of Seth Rogen coming on his face and leak it to the public so it can kind of ruin Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron. And Seth Rogen throughout the movie, towards in the beginning, before the video happens, um, she wants to get married to him because they find out we really love each other. And he's all like, but I don't want to be somebody I'm not, because if they were to get married, he would have to stop being who he is and be somebody different, more, you know, presidential, or just more straight up and not funny. And so he's like, I don't want to do that. I want to be me. And so then when the video gets leaked, he's like, well, guess we have no choice. And then that's when the ending comes, and it's really awesome. They get back together, and they said, who cares? I'll just be me, and you just be you. And I really love this movie, and probably O'Shea Jackson II, or O'Shea Jackson Jr., is really hilarious in this movie. I fucking loved him so much. And just everything in this movie in general is just really funny, especially like the ballroom scene when she's about to give her speech, and he dresses up as this weirdo from Sweden or something, and it's super hilarious. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's really good. I don't know how to spoil it for you guys, but this is a really good romance comedy, and I recommend you see it. Go see Long Shot so badly. Endgame, you've probably already seen it, so I'm not really going to recommend it. Like, go see Endgame right now. It's like, everybody saw it. The good thing about seeing Avengers Endgame was that there was only a few people there, and my dad slept the entire time, and he started snoring really loudly. It's funny. I don't know if he wants me to say this, but it was just funny. And the thing was, we went at 11 o'clock, and we ended up getting back at 2 a.m., and it was a school night. So I woke up ready for school, like, ugh, school, crap. I didn't get home till 2 a.m. because I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning. Probably a bad idea. I only do it because I like to play video games early in the morning. That's the only reason why. But anyways, go see Long Shot. I'm going to recommend that movie because you've already seen Endgame. So anyways, by the way, be awesome, because awesome is awesomeness. Bye. Seriously, why can't I snap with this finger? I'm terrible with my left hand.